So welcome, dear devotees, to our class on Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we're going to do first canto and the 8th chapter, picking up verse number 7 today. But after these prayers to the spiritual master, Om Ajnatimarandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Okay, so we'll get started with reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 8th chapter, verse number 7. Amantriya Panduputramscha Senyodhava Samyutaha Dvaipayanadibhir Vipre Pujita Pratipujitaha. Okay, so now you can start reading again from the Sanskrit. Who's going in first today?
Yeah, me.
Fantastic.
Amantraya Panduputramscha Saini Samyuta Dvaipayana Dibhir Vipray Pujita Pratipujita.
Very nice. Okay.
I think
Synonyms.
Aruni Mataji.
Yeah. Shraddha Maji, could you make it a bit bigger, please? It's very small on my screen.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Amantriya, inviting. Pandu Putran, all the sons of Pandu. Cha, also. Sainya, Satyaki, Uddhava, Samyutaha, accompanied. Dvaipayana, Adibihi, by the rishis like Vedavyasa. Viprehi, by the brahmanas. Pujitehi, being worshipped. Pratipujitehi, the Lord also reciprocated equally. Who's next? Varshana Mataji.
No. Lord Shri Krishna then prepared for his departure. He invited the sons of Pandu. After having been worshipped by the Brahmanas, headed by Srila Vyasdev, the Lord also reciprocated greetings. So Hare Krishna.
Purport. Apparently, Lord Sri Krishna was a Kshatriya and was not worshipable by the Brahmanas. But the Brahmanas present there, headed by Srila Vyasadeva, all knew him to be the personality of Godhead, and therefore they worshipped him. The Lord reciprocated the greetings just to honor the social order that a Kshatriya is obedient to the orders of the Brahmanas. Although Lord Shri Krishna was always offered the respects due to Supreme Lord from all responsible quarters, the Lord never deviated from the customary usages between the four orders of society. The Lord purposely observed all these social customs so that others would follow him in the future. Hare Krishna.
All right.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mandyavali Mataji.
Dandavat pranams.
Dandavat pranams. Okay, so reflection time.
So next, Mataji, you can read Vindhyavali Mataji.
There's nothing to read. There's only one verse. Today's Bhagavatam.
No, just in case.
Okay.
no
All right.
problem.
All right. Okay. You see. Yes. We might have some verses based on the reflections that come
No
up.
problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So now, reflections.
So he's a Kshatriya, right? Even then he drew a chariot. But he followed all the... and it's very nice how they're showing the reciprocation between the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas and how both of them are following the customs and properly respecting each other. I think that was
Yeah. Yeah. So there are two points that you brought out actually in that statement. One is that he was a Kshatriya, and then still he was driving the chariot for Arjuna, right? And who drives the chariot? If somebody drives a chariot, what is his varna?
Probably Shudra, I don't know.
Yeah,
Shudra.
Shudra. Exactly, he's a Shudra, right? And so Krishna even went to the level of being a Shudra. And I think I had mentioned last time also a few times in the previous sessions that when it's a war, you know that there's a lot of noise that's going on because the horses are falling down, people are shouting, the Kshatriyas will shout, right, to get that necessary whatever you need to fight. And so there's a lot of noise over there happening. So it's impossible to hear each other in the din of the war. And so if Arjuna has to give instructions to Krishna, he can't just say Krishna turn left and turn right. He has to take his foot and then kick him on either right side of his back or the left side of his back, and that's how he knows Krishna would know to take the chariot to the right or to the left.
Oh God.
So it is, yeah. So as you can see, to what
It is
level?
something. God.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you will realize, Vinyavali Mataji, that when he sees the universal form of the Lord, and
Just-
he realizes that he's God,
I
then
can't
how
imagine.
bad, yeah. Can you imagine then how bad he would have felt, that how have I treated the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Really.
But
Even I am
couldn't he do
feeling
left or
bad.
right?
Say that to Sukumal Radhe.
Why couldn't he just say to the left or to the right? Why would he have to do it with his?
Because of the noise.
Cannot hear noise.
Yeah, because of the noise in the war. Even if he speaks, he cannot hear.
Oh.
Like that, so he has to do the
No
kicking.
walkie-talkies.
Even I am feeling bad, Mataji. He did that. I don't know how Arjuna felt.
You can
I'm
imagine if
feeling
you're feeling bad, yeah.
I'm feeling bad.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah. So that's how it was. So
Even
Hare
Sudra Sudra does also. We cannot do like that. That is too much to do like that. Even Sudra does the
Well,
chariot also.
yeah. So what you're saying is that even for a Sudra, we should not kick, right? But according to the time and the place and the circumstances, the rules get bent, right? It basically means that, okay, there's a Shudra in your family and you want him to turn right and left, and if there is no sound there, I mean, if there are no noises there, then we should just speak, right? But if the situation is like that you cannot run. I remember one of my sisters, I won't tell which one, because we're on Facebook. She had two naughty boys, and now with Varshana Mataji can start guessing which one it is. But anyway, so she had two very naughty boys, and they were almost the same in age. And so she had once gone to the market to shop, and the two of them with her. And suddenly, and they were holding her hands, and suddenly, how kids can pull themselves away from the parents and start running. This is exactly what both of them did. They started running towards that, and she saw there was a vehicle coming here, and he was shouting. They were not shouting, so she took off both her sandals and threw at both of them, and immediately they stopped. And then she said, everybody around me was like, what is this mom doing? So sometimes, because of the time and the place and the circumstances, you have to do extremes of things. But that should not be normal means where a mom communicates with the children. But sometimes you have to, for the interest of the child, to prevent them from getting under the wheels of a car. She had to do that. Yeah. Varshana Mataji, go ahead.
Yes, Mataji, Krishna has taken over all the Varnas. Like you see, as a Brahmana, he gave the Upadesh to Arjuna. Then, as a Kshatriya, he picked up the wheel of the chariot. And then, as a Shudra, he was running the, he was a Sarthi. And yes, these three I remember. I mean, I can guess. Means he has combined all of them in himself.
Yes. Good. Very good observation. Yeah. And
And as a guru, he has been instructing, right?
yeah, as a guru and Brahman.
Guru.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. He's been doing that. Yeah. So
I just want to ask, in when you go to war, I thought it's all Kshatriyas. So even the charioteer isn't that kind of an elevated position, even though,
Well,
even if it would be less than an actual
yes.
fighting frontline warrior?
Yeah.
So would it necessarily be Shudra? It would rather be just a lower rank Kshatriya as compared to Arjuna, maybe.
Well, yeah, they are Shudras, Kshatriyas are Kshatriyas. I mean, I didn't hear of a lower ranking or upper ranking among them. Like, among the Devtas, we do
Yeah.
have, like, there are demigods and there are lower level of demigods. Devtas and Upadevtas are there, right? So like that among the demigods, but I didn't hear about these. So they are like, and you know what? I mean, the Shudras, we shouldn't feel too bad about a Shudra because we all are Shudras.
That's
And
true.
I'm not saying because we have a Shudra mentality, but I'm saying that
Don't
we all
have
do,
qualifications.
yeah, we all do service, right?
Service.
We all do service, and so we are not into business, we are not into administration. I mean, some of them might become managers and VPs and all that, then you get risen to that level, but all of us are doing service. No one, none of us are there, governing a city or things like that. Most of us are Shudras, and it's not that Shudras are all bad. I mean, Shudras are all the people who are craftsmen and things like that. I mean, they're
It's true.
beautiful. They do beautiful work. The sculptures, the painters, and all that. You know, and then all of these things get transcendentalized. Like if a Shudra is painting a picture of the Lord, he must have done some sukriti to be able to do that like that.
Yes.
Barshana?
No,
Yes.
I think it's also an
Yes,
analogy.
Mataji, Mataji, Baba Ambedkar was from a Shudra family, and he wrote the Constitution for India.
India, yeah, and then of course, Aruni.
No, because he's a charioteer, he's steering. So it's like, it's the bigger picture. It's Krishna who's steering our lives. So I think
Yes. What is that verse in Bhagavad Gita that says that Krishna, steers us?
Question, Mataji, once again.
So Aruni Mataji was saying that when Lord Krishna driving the chariot for Arjuna is symbolical of Krishna, driving us.
Hmm.
So I was
Yes,
asking that which
yes,
verse in Bhagavad Gita tells you that?
Yeah.
Chariot of the senses guides the wanderings. That's what.
Well, no, Krishna guided that. Yeah, chariot is that is there. That's the sad part. It says that in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
chariot of the mind.
Uh,
Chariot of the mind.
No, not the chariot. Krishna won't do that to you. Well, might want to do that sometimes. But here's the one. Whose turn is it to read?
Vindhyavali Mataji.
Iswara Sarvabhuta.
Vindhyavali Mataji. Now you will remember when you see this.
Yeah. Iswara Sarvabhutanam Hrideshe Jnanastisthi.
Arjun. Hirdeshe Arjun. That is Arjun.
Hrideshe Arjun Tishtati Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantra Rudrani Mayaya.
Okay, whose turn next? Give us the synonyms.
Ishwaraha, the Supreme Lord, Sarva Bhutanam, of all living,
Arjuna Tishtati.
Hrita Dishe, in the location of Deshe, in the location of the heart, Arjuna, O Arjuna, Tishtati resides, Brahmayan, causing to travel, Brahmayan, causing to travel, Sarva Bhutani, all living entities, Yantra, on a machine, Arudhani, being placed, Mayaya, under the spell of material energy.
Very nice. Okay.
Aruni Mataji.
translation, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Varshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, just scroll it up a little. Purport for the book.
Mataji, it's on the topmost of my screen. I can't scroll any further. Maybe you need to touch your screen.
Mataji. No. Yes, now it has come. Arjuna was not the supreme knower, and his decision to fight or not to fight was confined to his limited discretion. Lord Krishna instructed that the individual is not all in all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, or He Himself, Krishna, as the localized super soul, sits in the heart directing the living being. Sits in the heart directing the living being. After changing bodies, the living entity forgets his past deeds, but the super soul, as the knower of the past, present, and future, remains the witness of all the activities. Therefore, all the activities of living entities are directed by this super soul. The living entity gets what he deserves and is carried by the material body, which is created in the material energy under the direction of the super soul. Hare Krishna. Neeral Prabhuji, you can go ahead. As soon as.
Mataji, are you able to read?
Yes, I can read, Prabhuji.
No, Priyanka Mataji, I saw her joining, so I'm not sure if she wanted to read. Okay, I'll read anyways. As soon as a living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of that bodily situation. A person seated in a high-speed motor car goes faster than one seated in a slower car. Though the living entities, the driver may living entities, driver may be the same. Similarly, by the order of the Supreme Soul, material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity so that he may work according to his past desires. The living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender, and that is the injunction of the next verse.
So you see, so and then also one thing I noticed here, that this is Rantarurani Mayaya. Yantarunani. What is Rantarunani?
On a machine.
The machine, that is our body.
Right? And we think that we are doing, but he's saying that he is directing the wanderings of all living entities according to your desires. So again, we should not jump to the conclusion that Lord is directing it. So where is my free will? So we express our free will first. We say, I want to have an apple. And God says, okay, there is the apple, go. That way he directs and shows you the way all along. So so Krishna does that, right? Okay. So where were we? 1.8.7, right? So we were talking about Krishna being a Shudra, and then, taking the directions of him, but actually in reality, it is Krishna who directs us, and we are actually the yantras. And was it Prashana Mataji who said, or who said that it's symbolic? Aruni Mataji said that Krishna driving the chariot is symbolic of Krishna driving our life. And I said, well, there's a verse from Bhagavad Gita that supports it, and this is the verse that supports that.
Yeah, it supports it very well, Harshad.
Very well.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, so Bhagavad Gita, you can keep on going. I really like that in the beginning, where Prabhupada says that Bhagavad Gita is like is the milk, and Arjun is like a calf, and Bhagavad Gita is like a cow, and he keeps on drinking the milk over and over again. And the more you keep on going into the Bhagavad Gita, you never tire of reading Bhagavad Gita and applying it in your life. So you might start with beginning few things we apply, and as we go deeper and deeper, you start applying it. And it's an amazing book. I mean, I've never seen.
Because as we read it more, we feel that we are learning something new from the same verse that we may have read way before and not understood it that way.
Right.
But then attending your classes and all, now I feel
that's what I was
has a way of expressing in a different form.
Yeah.
See, but the more we read alone, it may not be that effective like we do like this and
After
get your
discussing.
Yeah, very important. So that is why a devotee association and discussions also. I mean, you should have you should have both actually. Sometimes you should also have solitary reading because it helps you focus a little bit more in your own flow. But then you should also come these sessions here. Okay, So, or all right, then where are we? Okay, back again to the verse. We are doing some reflections here. Reflection time. So, okay. Any more reflections on this? So Neeral Prabhu, thank you for bringing that part about reciprocation. Yeah. So I was saying that from Neeral Prabhu's reflection. So there were two parts. I was saying there were two things to his part of it. One side was that one part was that okay, so Krishna reciprocates, right? And how was he? How was Krishna reciprocating? He became the chariot driver. So although he was a Kshatriya, he agreed to become a Shudra, right? So that was one thing he did. And the second thing that we see in this particular verse is then I'll then bring that to your attention again. And that is, let's see what that is here. So he's prepared for his departure, right? So all these things have been done, Ashwatthama, etc., and the four Pandava sons have been cremated. All that Krishna has been there, offering his grief as well, and then he is now preparing to leave and go. So where is he going to go?
Dwarka Mataji.
Dwarka, excellent, for 25 points. So he's going to go to Dwarka. And so now he's saying that, apparently Prabhupada says that he was a Kshatriya and was not worshipable by the Brahmanas. But the Brahmanas knew that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they started worshipping him, right? And then here says that the important thing is the Lord reciprocated the greetings just to honor the social order of a Kshatriya, right? That's to honor the social order that a Kshatriya is obedient to the orders of the Brahmana. So what do you think it means to be reciprocating the greetings? Here, what do you think? Okay, let's see. Let's see. How do you think the Brahmanas would have greeted Krishna?
Like
Hmm?
Hare Krishna.
Asirvachan.
Huh?
Is that Asirvachan or something they do? Brahmanas?
What is that? Explain it in English. What is that?
Like blessing kind of thing, no? They do. No?
No. Here they are saying that although he's not worshipable, so there's no blessing that Brahmanas are giving. There in the verse. So let me bring the verse back
So
again.
they are showing
Chanting the
deference,
mantra.
knowing that he's the personality of Godhead.
Yes. So knowing that he's a person, although they're not supposed to do that, but they know that he's the personality of the Godhead. So offering greetings, how do you greet the personality of Godhead? When you go to the temple, what do you do?
Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranams, right? And how do you think Krishna reciprocated?
Same way to them.
Same way.
The same.
Right. So you see, the same he reciprocates in the same way. Now, which verse in Bhagavad Gita says that? He reciprocates according to how you surrender to him. Is there a verse that says? Very, very famous verse. Bhagavad Gita. BG 4:11 says that. Okay. Whose turn is it to read? Okay, and Garima cannot read also, right? Is it?
Vindhyavali Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Yes means can't read or yes means can read?
Country.
Okay. Vindhyavali Mataji will read for you.
Hare Krishna. Ye yeta mam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajayami ham mama vartante manushya partha sarvashaha.
There you go.
Ye, all who, yatha, as, mam, unto me, prapadyante, surrender, tan, them, tatha, so, eva, certainly, bhajami, reward, aham, I, mama, my, vartama, path, anuvartante, follow, manushyaha, all men, partha, O son of Pritha, Sarvasaha in all respects. Arunima.
Translation: As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Varshana Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mate, thank you. Everyone is searching for Krishna in different aspects of his manifestations. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahman Jyotir effulgence and as the all pervading supersoul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realization, and thus everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in the transcendental attitude. Just as the devotee wants him, one devotee may want Krishna as the supreme master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally according to their different intensities of love for him. Hare Krishna. Niral Prabhuji, you can go ahead
Yeah.
in the
In
word.
material world, the same reciprocations of feelings are there, and they are equally exchanged by the Lord with different types of worshippers. The pure devotees, both here and in the transcendental abode, associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. As for those who are impersonalists and who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Krishna helps also by absorbing them into his effulgence. Such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal blissful personality of Godhead. Consequently, they cannot relish the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord, having extinguished their individuality. Some of them who are not firmly situated even in the impersonal existence return to this material field to exhibit their dormant desires for the activities. Vindhyavali Mataji, would you like to continue?
They are not admitted into the spiritual planets, but they are again given a chance to act on material planets. For those who are fruitive workers, the Lord awards the desired results of their prescribed duties. As the Yajneswara and those who are yogis seeking mystic powers are awarded such powers. In other words, everyone is dependent for success upon his. Mataji, can you roll it a little bit, please?
Yeah.
Upon his mercy alone. And all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success on the same path, unless therefore one comes to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness. All attempts remain imperfect, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10. Mataji, can you scroll it a little bit, please?
One scroll coming
Akam,
up.
pardon?
Scroll.
Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udharadhit udaradhi ti- tive- tivrena udaradhi tivirena bhakti yogena yajita yajeta purusham param. Whether one is without desire, the condition of the devotees, or is desirous of all fruitive results, or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Reflections. About Krishna's justification.
The Hare Krishna Mother. The way we surrender, he reciprocates in the same manner.
Right.
It all depends on us. How are we? How much is our level of surrendering?
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't have to, we should not blame Krishna, right?
Yes.
Yes. Depends on us how much we surrender.
Completely depends on us. Yeah. And sometimes we just keep on, saying like, why is Krishna doing this? Why is Krishna doing that? To me, well, you get as according to your surrender. The more the surrender goes, the more you take, and actually it's not even, it's proportionate in some way, but it's even more than that. It is, you take one step and Krishna takes 10 steps towards you.
Uh, Hare Krishna Mother. Can I say something?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Mataji, this month being the Damodar, puja we do every day. And I always remember of those two things, your endeavor and his mercy. And most of the time, Mataji, I am realizing that I'm short in my endeavors. So the mercy will flow accordingly. And many a times these days, I have been realizing every day that here I went short, here I went wrong, here I went wrong. And this month has taught me a lot, Mataji.
Absolutely. And that's the way to go. That's the way to go, to see where our shortcomings are and then try to fill those in. And that is continuous improvement for us, right? So it'll start with,
Yes.
I don't see anything wrong with me, right? We all start from that level. Like everybody in the world is bad and I'm the best.
I'm not perfect.
Right? And then from there, we go to where the acharyas are. Mausama patita prabhu nahi. Right? He says, nobody nahi tribhuvane, that there is nobody more fallen like I am. Right? It's not that they are fallen. It's just that their state of mind is like that, right? For example, if there's a dirty napkin in the kitchen, right? All black or brown or whatever, full of spots. And then you start cleaning it, you put some bleach in it, and it comes back to its original white color. And then on that white color, there's a small black dot, and you see it. When it was all brown, you could not see it, right?
Yeah.
As you evolve and then you start becoming better and better and you purify your consciousness, then even a small speck there is very much, you just don't like that. You just don't like it at all. And in as much as, one tiny hair falls inside your eye, it gives you so much of trouble, right? One tiny speck of dust that gets inside your eyes, it gives you so much trouble. Similarly, one small thing that they do, I mean, the initial state, it is like, what did I do? I was only thinking. I did not do anything, right? To the extreme, then you're like, how could I even think of it? You see? So from one level, it goes over to that other level where you're constantly, and this constant thing, Varchana Mataji, that you're doing is the kind of deliberation that is required. To progress in devotional service, it is required. And to improve, you have to see what are the areas of improvement and then act upon them, right? So that's what you're saying. You are always looking for that, where is that 1 inch short that I'm falling, or 1 ungal short I'm falling, right? Because God's mercy is always there for us. My endeavors are not there, right? Most of the times. Well, of course, in Yashoda Maiya's case, it was the opposite. Krishna was having fun, right? He was purposefully not giving the mercy and making Yashoda go through all that. But in our case, it's always there. Ye yathamam prapadyante. How much of a finger you have given him, width-wise. He will just do that much for you. So the gap will always be there, like that. So yes, that is the right way to go. And so um, as a on the path of improvement, this is a good thing. Like, in software development, you develop a product, software product, right? And then they discover a bug. So the first step of making the software much better is to discover that there is a bug. We found the bug, that's a big thing, and then we will go and fix it, like that. Right? So in when you have hardware, right? When there is hardware, then it is easy to detect where the fault is. For example, it's a big piece of machinery which has got 60 gears. You run the machinery and you'll say, all right, the 57th gear is not working, or this blade is off, or this switch is not working on a fan, or so on and so forth, right? Or it's only giving heat and not giving cold air. So you are able to pinpoint where the problem is much, much easily on a hardware. And then, fixing it is another big thing that you need to do, right? In the software, trying to find the fault is a very difficult thing. Where is the fault in my mind? Where is because we are all always justified in how I was thinking about certain things. And so that to really find that there was a fault in me is a difficult one. But once you find the fault, then the fix is there. Very, very easy. Very, very easy to do that. So we should always be constantly in this self introspection mode to see like what's going on. And to do that, it is important to deliberate. It is important to sit down in a quiet place and then look at your life, look at what we have done, think about it. Was it right? Was it not right? Because sometimes we do things in the heat of the moment, right? And when you do that, then
Yes.
Krishna will reciprocate. He will reciprocate to you. He will remind you of things. So that's why in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita we read Sarvasya chaham hidi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Right? So he says that from me come remembrance and forgetfulness and also memory. So that's why Krishna is saying that um, when Krishna wants, he will give you the remembrance, and if Krishna wants, he will make you forget also things. So when he sees that there is a very conscious effort from your side to improve yourself, then he will show you your faults. He will do that, and when we are at a higher stage of evolution, then somebody pointing out our faults will not be taken badly. They are actually thankful. They're actually thankful that you showed me this, and now I can improve. So the desire should be in our heart that I have to improve. I have to improve. How can I improve? How can I improve? How can I do it? How can I do it? How can I do it? Right? So this is there. Now there's another example of reciprocation which I came across, and I think which is very fantastic, and I wanted to bring this up for you. It's a nice thing from Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll just bring that to you. And here, Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, so 3/3 and 5. Okay. So, canto number 3, chapter number 3 is the Lord's pastimes out of Vrindavan. So, where else do you think Lord had the pastimes, if not in Vrindavan?
Mathura,
Mathura, good.
Gokul,
Gokul, good.
Nand,
Dwarka.
Sorry,
Dwarka,
Dwarka, yes.
Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra. Yes, yeah. So he has done his pastimes in several places. Now here they're going to talk about particularly his pastimes which started in Dwarka. Okay. So let's look at fifth verses as I'm bringing. So whose turn is it to read?
It's mine.
Okay. Priyam Prabhur Gramya Iva Priyaya. That's the tune.
You're not sharing, Shraddha.
I'm not sharing. Oh, I thought I shared. Oh. Suspense. Okay. Priyam Prabhur Gramya Iva Priyaya.
Priyam Prabhur Gramya Eva Priyaya Vidishtur Archadyutaram Yad Arthe Vajriyadravat Tam Sagano Rusanda Kridamrgo Nunam Ayam Vadunam.
Very nice. Now, whose turn is it to read?
Aruni Mataji.
Aruni.
My turn. Synonyms: Priyam, of the dear wife; Prabhu, the Lord; Gramyaha, ordinary living being; Iva, in the manner of; Priyayaha, Priyayaha, just to please; Vidishtuhu, wishing; Archat, brought about; Dutarum, the the par, par, the Parijata flower tree, yet for which; Arte, in the matter of; Vajri, Indra, the king of heaven; Adravatam, went forward to fight with him; Saganaha, with full strength; Rusha, in anger; Andaha, blind. Oops.
Sorry. No, no. Okay. Go ahead.
Kridha, Mrgaha, henpecked; Nunam, of course; I am this; Vadunam, of the wives. Varshana Mataji.
Correct. Thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna. Just to please his dear wife, the Lord brought back the Parijat tree from heaven, just as an ordinary husband would do. But Indra, the king of heaven, induced by his wives, handpacked as he was, ran after the Lord with full force to fight him. Hare Krishna. Neeral Prabhuji.
Purport. The Lord once went to the heavenly planet to present an earring to Aditi, the mother of the demigods, and his wife Satyabhama, who also went with him. There is a special flowering tree called Parijat, which grows only in the heavenly planets, and Satyabhama wanted this tree. Just to please his wife, like ordinary husband, the Lord brought back the tree, and this enraged Vajri, or the controller of the thunderbolt. Indra's wives inspired him to run after the Lord to fight, and Indra, because he was a henpecked husband and also a fool, listened to them and dared to fight with Krishna. He was a fool on this occasion because he forgot that everything belongs to the Lord. Hare Krishna. Hindi wali Mataji?
Mataji, there was no fault on the part of the Lord, even though he took away the tree from the heavenly kingdom, but because Indra was handpicked, dominated by his beautiful wife like Sachi, he became a fool, just as all persons who are dominated by their wives are generally foolish. Indra thought that Krishna was a handpicked husband who only by the will of his wife Satyabhama took away the property of heaven, and therefore he thought that Krishna could be punished.
Okay, I'm
Mata,
going to stop. I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to ask Paul to tell me that. Okay, let's have a few reflections here on what we read from here. What are the things that struck?
Why Indra always messes with Lord?
Indra always messes a lot. Very good point. And what do you think?
He's
Why-
envious of the Lord.
Huh? He's a
He's envious.
yeah. He's envious of the Lord, but isn't he supposed to be a devotee of the Lord?
He is, but
Yeah.
he's
He is.
envious.
Right. Yeah. So what's going on over there? He's
Maya,
part of a devotee of the Lord, right? Yeah. Yeah. See how Maya is so strong?
Maya,
Hmm. Yeah. And in which form does Maya affect him? As what?
Anger.
Yes. And even before anger, yes, the anger is there, definitely there. But before anger, what is it that
Right.
makes him angry? There is some,
That I am the supreme controller.
I am the supreme controller. Exactly. So he gets puffed up by the fact that he's there. And he's thinking, I'm king of heavens. How dare you take the Parijat flower? Right? So he's like, no, this is mine. I'm the king of the heavens. Who are you? And he did one more, who are you, right? We said that uh, for the Govardhan Leela. So here he is, and he's fighting. And what was it about Indra and his wives? What did it say?
Was very henpecked.
Hand-pecked husband.
He's a hand-pecked husband.
he
Yeah.
even said fool.
Yeah, and then also said that hand-pecked husbands are fools, right?
Mm.
So here's the interesting thing. It's a very interesting thing because I mean I can say as a woman I can understand we are little controllers also, aren't we? So that's why the struggle starts actually in a household, because both of them want to control the wives. And of course, in the olden days, the girls were taught to be submissive. Now they are not.
Isn't
For
there
all the
also
more
some,
reason, all the more
That's
reason.
true.
isn't there also some
That-
satire in this? Indra is the chief of the demigods, right?
Hmm.
So, and he's henpecked.
Hmm.
So it's kind of it's a sort of a satirical situation.
It
Isn't it?
is. It is. And actually, this is not the only place where henpecked men are kind of looked upon. In Srimad Bhagavatam, other places also, we come across a king who was a very powerful king, but when he went to his wife, he would beg her, so that he could have some sex there. So it all drives around to what else? What is it Indra's wives are giving that he cannot get from here, there, like that? So he gets henpecked. And what is Prabhupada saying? That they are foolish. And so that is why I'm just saying that sometimes as ladies we get we try to control, and sometimes, and the husband most of the times, and for some of us, they don't listen to you at all.
They won't really.
And but then you
Everybody.
have to sometimes in our, and then later on, and then as a young girl, the husband might succumb to her wishes, and her wishes might not be the right wishes. So if he succumbs to those wishes, then it's only going to lead to disaster. So it's very important for a husband to be strong, and not to fall to the lure of the female that is there, because that's a very attractive proposition out there.
Yes.
So we see that this kind of thing is happening even all the way up to the heavenly planet, right? And on the other hand, we see that there was a devotee who could not be lured. Who was that devotee, Garima? Who could not be lured by Maya?
Prahlad.
Haridas
Haridas.
Thakur.
Haridas
Haridas.
Thakur, right? Haridas Thakur. So you see how devotional service is so strong, and so that's why we should get rid of those concepts or those aims or those desires, as I should go to the heavenly planets. This is the best planet where you can be. This is the best place where you can be, because it has got a mix of both happiness and distress. Too much of happiness up in the heavenly planets, you get puffed up, and then you start thinking that this is God and he's handpicked. So he's saying that just as he's handpicked, and he's demonstrating that his wives are telling him to go fight with Krishna, and he fights, right? Like that. How can he do that? How can God do this to me? I will fight. Now, we don't fight with God when these things happen, because we know we are not capable of doing it. We know our tiny little position in life. But when you are at the level of Indra, you are controlling the showers, the rain showers, and you're controlling this and that. He's controlling all the demigods. He's controlling everything in this universe. So the idea of being puffed up and I'm the controller, it's very easy to get into that particular thing. It's a very dangerous situation to be in the heavenly planets, right? In the lower planets, which is, Patal, Sutal, Vital, those kind of planetary systems, again, there's a lot of opulence, but there is no concept of God there at all. Very, very little, very, very little is there. So, so that's why we say you stay here in this planet. Now, Indra is a henpecked man, and he is thinking that, and then he gets, henpecked more by his wife who go and ask him to fight. And then Indra himself looks at the situation of Krishna's wife asking for a parijat flower and Krishna giving it or picking it up for her. He says that Krishna is handpicked by Satyabhama. Satyabhama is a beautiful wife. And now I wanted to ask you, and that's why I stopped the display, the sharing here, to see, why do you think? So what's going on over there? Is Krishna handpicked?
There will
Mataji,
be
Krishna,
another.
all
One at a time.
Yeah.
Vindhyavali was speaking something. Mataji, go ahead.
There is another reason for that, I think.
That's what I'm asking.
For his taking.
Yeah. I'm asking, what was it? Krishna's.
So Rukmini, Narada will go and tell, and Rukmini and Satyabhama. Then I don't know how to explain that.
Okay, let's see what Varshana has to say. Varshana Mataji.
Mataji, my point was that Lord always pleases his devotees, and she, Satyabhama, actually was his wife, but she was a devotee of the Lord. She serves him all the time. So he wanted to please her for her services.
Okay. And Garima, were you also saying that?
Yeah, and then Krishna enjoys being handpecked also.
He enjoys being helpful also, right? Yeah.
That's good.
But yes. And the main point that we are trying to drive through here is that Satyabhama has pleased him by her services, and Krishna is trying to please her. What is it that's going on? Give me in one word. What is Krishna doing?
Love, showing love.
Reciprocation.
Reciprocation, because that's the topic of today's class, right? Krishna is reciprocating. So you see, ye yatha vam prapandyante tam sateva bhajamemam mama vartmanu vartanti manusya parsarada. So he's saying that I reciprocate according to your surrender. So if his devotee of his has done so much of service to him, then the devotee wants a little flower. What's there? Krishna will get it because he's trying to reciprocate. Right? So that's the extreme. And then that's Krishna's reciprocation. And then the extreme of that is that Krishna says in Bhagavatam, I think in the 10th canto, he says that when he's talking to the gopis, and he says that, gopis, you have done so much for me. You have done so much for me. And he says that I cannot. Let me bring up that verse because it's a sweet verse also. So just give me a second here.
Reciprocate.
And let me share that here with you all. Okay, whose turn is it to read?
It's mine.
Napariyeham nirvatya samyujam. That's a tune.
Naparaye nirvadya samyujam swasadhu krityam vibhudyas yusapi vaha yama bhajan durjara geha shrinkalaha samrichya tadvaha pratiyatu sadhuna.
Very good.
Synonyms: na, not; paraye, am able to make; aham, I; niravadhya samyujam, to those who are completely free from deceit; swasadhu krityam, proper compensation; vibudha ayusha, with a lifetime as long as that of the demigods; api, although; va, to you; ya, who; ma, me, me; Abhajan, have worshipped; Durjara, difficult to overcome; Geha Shrinkalaha, the chains of household life; Samrishya, cutting; Tat, that; Va, of you; Pratiyatu, let it be returned; Sadhuna, by the good activity itself. Varshana Mataji.
Thank you, Mother. I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a lifetime of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation.
Purport. The translation and word meanings for this verse are taken from Srila Prabhupada's English rendering of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 4.180. Vindhyali Mataji. Okay, I'll just go ahead and continue.
She read the whole thing on mute. I was asking her to unmute, but I think she was focused on the reading the text.
I'm sorry. The conclusion, the gopis became certainly glorious by their behavior in the Lord's temporary absence, And the mutual love between them and the Lord was wonderfully enhanced. This is the perfection of Krishna and his loving devotees. Then end of the purpose of the humble servants of his divine grace C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 10th canto, 32nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Reunion. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So you see, this is the extreme. It is the extreme of service that a devotee has done that Krishna says, I can't reciprocate. This is beyond me. And then he says that your glorious deeds are just like that. And one thing which I also found very interesting in the 10th canto, because Prabhupada had left the body somewhere in the middle, and then his disciples took to the translation of the rest of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so you see that they were so particular about not using their own intellect to do the translations of these verses. Instead, they would look from here and there from all his lectures that he had given and then bring in there. So even here it is saying, in the purport saying that the servants of Srila Prabhupada are saying that the translation and word meanings of this verse are taken from Srila Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita, because Chaitanya Charitamrita has got lots of Sanskrit in it. So this is like the extreme of, of the relationship between Krishna and the gopis. And that's why we say that gopis, the gopis are the highest devotees that one can have of Krishna. Like that, yeah. So it's 8 o'clock now, and we will stop the sabha here today. And tomorrow we will assemble at
5:30.
No,
6.
6 o'clock. Yeah, 6
6
o'clock.
o'clock. Not
Yeah.
5:30 tomorrow.
So if you want 5:30, there's another option, and that is that at 5 o'clock, at 5 o'clock tomorrow,
I'll see.
and I'll send. Let me finish. At 5 o'clock tomorrow, I will. There's going to be a get together, a kirtan sabha, because Adi Mati,
That's one I was remembering.
and so she is. She's organizing, we are organizing for her actually. Some devotees coming together and doing some kirtan. So my Zoom will be on from 5 o'clock tomorrow. So 5 to 6, we'll be having the bhajans. So if you come and start joining the class at 6 o'clock, our Bhakti Vriksh class, and you see that there's some bhajan going on, don't feel alarmed. And of course, you all are welcome to join from 5 o'clock. Absolutely, anybody and everybody. And if there are any more that who want to come for kirtan, because not everybody likes to sit in lectures, right? But kirtans are something that people like. So we'll just put it there. And we'll broadcast. I don't know yet whether we'll broadcast that part on Facebook or not, because I need to check with Aditi Mataji whether she wants it to do that or not. So just want to let you know about tomorrow that we have got those options there. Okay.
Thank you, Shraddha Mataji. Today's class and verse was very interesting.
It was an interesting verse. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji,
Very
very
nice.
nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why I say that it is a nigam galitam phalam. So it is the ripened fruit of the Vedas. Nigam means Vedas. So galitam means ripened, right? Gal gaya, Chita said, like that. So galitam phalam, it's a ripened fruit of the Vedas. That's why every verse in this is nectar. And although this particular chapter is titled as Prayers of Queen Kunti, we haven't even come to the prayers of Kunti yet. She hasn't started talking. She'll do that in 18th verse onwards. But we are still relishing our way through that. And that's why I say that with Srimad Bhagavatam, it's not about finishing it, it's about relishing it. And every verse is so relishable. On the face of it, if you just see like, what was it? Okay, they bowed down, Krishna bowed down. Okay, fine, let's go to the next verse. But then if you start digging deeper into the Shastras and see that, where all those connections are, and go deeper into what exactly reciprocation means, and then this is what it is. And actually, reciprocation is one of the activities that you do to express your gratitude. That is how you.
That's what I was thinking of telling Mataji. Anybody, whoever does anything to us, the reciprocation is the main thing, so that the other person will feel happy when we do something and somebody reciprocates. It makes a lot of difference.
Yes, and reciprocation. Yes. And the famous thing about reciprocation will be the last verse that I will use today is Tadvidi paripatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshyanti te jnana jnanina tattvadarshina. Right? So what does it mean? That when a devotee surrenders first to the disciple, surrenders first to the spiritual master and does some service and then inquires how? With humility. Pariprashnena, not prashnena, pariprashnena. So with humility, you ask those questions. Pariprashnena sevaya, right? Does the seva and also then ask questions with humility. Then they will give them jnanina tattvadarshana upadeshyanti. They will give them the updesh. They will give them the knowledge. Those who have already seen the truth, they can give the knowledge to about that to others, right? So so when you do service to the spiritual master and you actually touch their heart, they become happy with you. And so when you ask the question, they are willing to reciprocate and give it to you in some other shape and form that you're looking for. Sonal Matiji, so not Sonal, so Komal Radhe Matiji, were you trying to say something?
But we did read chapter
Mataji.
12 today, so now I have to sit and read it on my own.
Which one? Sorry?
Chapter 12.
12th chapter.
Oh, we didn't do chapter 12? Okay, let's do chapter 12. I was thinking there was something missing. Let's do chapter 12.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, one question here. In the last verse which you said, let the compensation of your glories be yours. What does this mean, Mataji?
No, he's not saying that your glories. No, he's not saying that. He's saying,
Your
let your own glorious deeds be
deeds.
your compensation.
Your glorious, yes, yeah, let your glorious deeds be as your compensation. What does it mean, Mataji?
So what he's saying is, I'm not able to reciprocate to you whatever you have done, right? But since I'm not able to do it, it's like, okay, you can't do that, but tell me what are you compensating me for? We always ask for compensation, right? You ran your car over me and I lost my leg. Give me the compensation for that. Okay, $10 million settled, right? So we're asking for some compensation. So Krishna is saying that, for all the glorious deeds that you have done for me, right? I cannot give you any reciprocation. So, okay, fine, you can't reciprocate. You can't do this. So what Krishna is saying that I'm incapable of doing what you did to me, right? So I cannot do that. So it's like, okay, then what is the compensation? So he's saying that your glorious deeds be your compensation, which is that he's saying, okay, you continue to do this, which is like the height of things, right? That is such a nice blessing to know that you will be able to do devotional service because Krishna is saying you continue to do that.
Okay.
Like that, right?
Thank you, Mataji.
Because they are doing it, then gopis are forever glorified. Now, but by Krishna saying this, he's actually glorifying the gopis to that extent.
The
that
gopis.
We are glorifying the gopis' deeds, and we are saying that see how gopis served him that even Krishna cannot reciprocate, right? So by his saying that I'm not able to reciprocate, he has given them the highest reciprocation that he could have given. So Krishna is not straightforward. He will twist things and
it is it's twisting.
yeah.
But very nice way.
We cannot reciprocate your class things, Mataji. More.
I'm going to put a fee from next year, and every question you ask will be $25.
Very nice.
And you have to all distribute
No
Bhagavad
way
Gita.
we can compensate.
No, there are no
what you
words,
have done for
Mataji.
us.
We cannot.
Actually, it's a very good
reciprocate
point.
words.
It's a very good point that you bring up. And this is, I'm also offering my humble obeisances to Hemlata Mataji and Aman Vaidya Prabhu, and Archana Mataji is there watching us there. And of course, Vidya Prabhu Mataji is there. So, yeah, just tell me, what was the last point that we were discussing just now? What did you say?
I said something like there's nothing we can do.
Yeah,
to
reciprocation. Very nice.
for your class.
Yes. And I was going to, and now just please don't take me wrong, but I just wanted to tell you, not in my context, but I'm just telling you because I'm instructing, right? So when the way reciprocation is handled varies from culture to culture. Okay, so now here in this part of the world where I live, the culture is you reciprocate it and it's a done deal, it's over. For example, you did something very nice to me. I was sick and you brought food over for some time. And then when I'm well, I will take a bottle of wine and I'll give it to
Yeah.
you. And we are now quits. It's
Equal.
done, it's over, it's finished. Right?
Yes.
Or you gave me a ride in your car and I paid you $5 for the gas and we are done. Right? But in other cultures, especially in
Sometimes,
Oriental, sometimes in the Oriental, what happens is that uh, when somebody does a good deed to the other person, the gratitude is eternal. It's not that,
eternal.
okay, so
That's
you,
what
you
I was
you
about
did
to talk.
something to me. Okay, I will do
Cannot.
something to you. And that's why sometimes you see that there are people who give money to the poor people. They might give them education to be educated, and then they become big. The person who took the money, the one who was originally poor, gets onto a nice job and is very well respected in the society. It's like he doesn't turn around and say, okay, you spent like how much, like 2 lakhs on my education, here 2 lakhs, yeah, quits. They don't do that. Even after reaching such a high position, they will continue to acknowledge the fact that this particular person is the person who made me, so to speak. So there the gratitude remains forever. They won't just settle down by some materialistic process. I just wanted to mention that reciprocation sometimes is forever. So it's not like, Krishna, you
Mhm.
did this to
Forever.
me, okay, I'm going to take
I said we
fast and
cannot.
yeah, I'm going to keep fast and
Forever.
then Mashtami, and then you go. So it's not like that. um, our gratitude towards Krishna should always be eternal as well, and our reciprocation should always be growing. And the good thing is that devotional service itself is such a nice thing that you would not want to call it
Yeah.
quits, because it's the only thing that gives you happiness. Am I right or right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Mataji.
Absolutely.
Well, it is. Yeah.
Mataji, I remember what you said. You see, one incident, uh, Benjamin, I'm forgetting the name of the person. Benjamin gave $20 to a student to study, and he was very grateful, and he studied. And when he became a big man, he went back and he packed put the money in the envelope and to give him, and he said, no, don't give it to me, please. Give it to some other needy person.
Another
And
person.
it's
Yes.
that is still going on till date, that that $20 is still given to the other person, to the other person, to the other person, and it is still going on, Mataji. So this is also one way of reciprocating,
And
Mataji,
how will
that
you apply that?
you
How will you apply that in your devotional life?
Yes, how will I apply, Mataji? Is you are giving me the knowledge of Krishna. You
We
are
have to give it to somebody.
clarifying. Yeah, we have to, you see, spread it I,
We have to
to
spread
the.
it.
So that may be the way of reciprocating. And
The
very
knowledge
humbly,
we
I'm saying, mm, and to be humble towards you, because you are the one who are giving us the knowledge, and our humility towards you and our devotion towards you is the reciprocation. We cannot do anything else to you, Mataji.
Yes, and actually, I was going to
but one thing,
extrapolate that
Mataji,
even more. Yeah, just 1 minute. So I was going to extrapolate that even more, and that this gratitude is coming to all our gratitude is actually stemming from Srila Prabhupada translating the books into English so that we could all read, right? And
Yes.
so our gratitude towards Srila Prabhupada and the way we do that $20 bill hanging around is that we spread the teachings of Srila Prabhupada as much as
spreading.
possible, because that's what he said. Whenever you have money, print
Yes.
books is what his spiritual master said.
Print
Prabhupada
books.
also said that please help me distribute my books, and that is what we should be doing. Vindhyavali Mataji, your turn now.
Yes, Mataji. But the way we are getting knowledge from you, it's not we should keep it to ourselves like $20. We should spread it to other person like that.
Yes.
So that will be forever. Like Prabhupada, from Prabhupada's, we are getting all this knowledge, and you got whatever, you got more than us, you're telling us. So whatever we learn, little bit, so we try to um, spread that knowledge, not to keep ourselves only.
Yes. And what
Like
is it about
$20
knowledge?
bill.
What is it about knowledge that differentiates that with money? What is the biggest thing about the biggest differentiator between knowledge and money?
Knowledge is more
More
valuable,
important.
Mataji.
Knowledge is more
More
important.
important, and not
Okay.
money you spend or it will be over. But knowledge is that forever it stays with
Okay. So money can get
Correct.
exhausted.
people.
Knowledge stays.
That's what I
Important, right?
Okay. Needle Prabhu, are you trying to say something?
Mataji, I think Lakshmi is also very important
Okay.
to, means if you have knowledge, you may Lakshmi will come out. But you want some Lakshmi also to be able to survive, or at least if you don't have, because we are at this stage, we don't realize that sometimes that, okay, we take it for granted that we see people on the everywhere outside not having even houses to stay. I mean, at that time they will feel, okay, we need Lakshmi. That is
Okay. So you're saying both are important, both are required, knowledge.
both are important.
Okay.
Lakshmi will not go after our death, but knowledge about devotional
Lakshmi
service will carry.
Oh, very good.
Lakshmi will be
Next life.
Chanchal Lakshmi Mataji. Lakshmi
Okay.
will be Chanchal Lakshmi. She won't
Okay.
sit
yes,
one
Okay.
place.
that's
Let
there.
us let us well, that is
Saraswati will sit
okay. Let us
forever.
look at that point. Let us look at that point at Lakshmi is Chanchal, right? What exactly does it mean, Lakshmi is Chanchal? What is Chanchal?
Um,
Then goes.
Mother,
Hmm. Vaishana
may
Mataji,
I
yes.
say?
Thank you for raising your hand. Yeah.
Yes. Mother, Lakshmi is Chanchal fine. She doesn't stay with one person. But the Lakshmi which we have, if we are using for the right purpose, that like you see, Srila Prabhupada said, whenever you have, his Guru Maharaj said that whenever you have money, you print the books and spread the knowledge. So Lakshmi can be used in the right
Both ways.
perspective, and can be spread, I mean, can be used for the right perspective. This is what I want to say. If
Yeah, but
we
we are
have
talking
this
about
knowledge,
yeah,
we have
yeah,
the books
yeah,
that can
yeah.
spread.
I got your point, but just to be on the point and cognizant of the time, but Lakshmi, we are talking about Lakshmi being Chanchal and not about using it. Not about using it. I'm talking about Lakshmi being Chanchal. So what
Yeah,
is this deal about Lakshmi being Chanchal?
But
yeah, Mataji
Mataji.
does not stay with one person. It keeps on going
All
from
right.
one to the
Very
other, to
good.
the third, to the
Very
fourth.
good. Very good. So can you describe to me the picture of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu? What does the picture look like?
He's lying on the
She,
in the
she will
ocean.
be,
He's lying in the ocean on the Sheshnag.
Sheshnath. Okay. And what else?
at his feet, she will be there.
And the Lakshmi is a
Lotus feet.
serving serving his
At
lotus
his
feet,
feet.
and
Okay.
she
Since
never
when?
leaves him. She always stays with him.
Okay. But you said Lakshmi is Chanchal. She goes from one man to another man. So where is the Chanchal?
No, Mataji.
Huh?
I think
No, in the money form she goes, but Lakshmi always stays
In the money
with her.
form she goes. Good try. Good try.
Neeral Prabhu bought the Lakshmi. That Lakshmi name.
Yeah. So there are two
Yeah.
types of Lakshmis. Yeah, there are two types of Lakshmis. There are Lakshmis in the. Okay, by the way, Lakshmi is an expansion of whom?
What, Mataji?
Lakshmi is whose expansion?
Radharani.
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 Exactly. Right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
we have to remember that there are two types of Lakshmi: Lakshmi of the material people, and then Lakshmi of the transcendental people. So when we're talking about Chanchal Lakshmi,
yeah.
Chanchal Lakshmi is the Lakshmi that belongs to the material person. They will go from here to there to there. So material Lakshmi. But when it comes to transcendental devotees, there are two things. Either the devotee will not have anything, zero, anda, Right? And God does that for a purpose, just to absolve him from whatever it takes to manage that Lakshmi and free up the devotees' time so that they can devote into devotional service. That is one reason that they will take it away, right? God will take it away. Otherwise, when a devotee gets Lakshmi, that's why you'll find that some bhaktas are very, very opulent because Krishna knows that they need this money to go and utilize in Krishna consciousness. And that's why you see Prabhupada became so opulent later time of his life, right? He was trying, and then Krishna immediately just with a chappar phad ke dena, right? Broke the roof and gave him money like that. ISKCON had still has very nice assets, right? Like that. So we have to remember there's a transcendental Lakshmi and then there is a material aspect of it. So it's a transcendental Lakshmi is a serving. That's what Prabhupada says that you should just worship Krishna. The whole world runs after Lakshmi. We just had Diwali. People were lighting diyas. They were keeping the lights on the whole night to make sure that Lakshmi finds a way into my home. And Prabhupada said, no, you don't have to take that route. You just worship Vishnu. And because she's such a chaste lady, that wherever her husband is, she will go there. She will come. If Vishnu comes into your home, Lakshmi will follow. So that is the strategy if you want Lakshmi to get the good Lakshmi like that. The transcendental versus material. Okay. All right.
Yes.
So let's
But
see.
in that aspect, I just want to say some just modern word, Mataji.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, Lakshmi, he will follow the Vishnu. Okay, she will follow Vishnu. But modern days, Vishnu will follow Lakshmi.
Yeah, but not our Vishnu. Not our Vishnu.
Not this
Not the
Vishnu.
Vishnu that is.
Not this. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, not
Not
Vishnu.
that.
We
Mataji,
don't.
another story they say Bhrigu
No, we never
Maharshi.
use. I just want to clarify that we never use those words. That
I'm
in
sorry.
modern day, Vishnu does not follow Lakshmi. Our Vishnu is independent of Kali Yuga and Satyuga and this thing, right? Yeah. What you meant was
Mataji,
our
Bhrigu
modern day
Maharshi
men.
story, what is?
Say that again?
What is that Bhrigu Maharshi story, Mataji?
Tomorrow,
Bhrigu Maharshi.
8:22. I have to leave. 8:22 class ends at 8 o'clock. Yeah. Why don't you
That is a
research?
nice story, Mataji.
Yeah, that's a nice story, but not related to reciprocation, right? It's not related to reciprocation
Okay.
in so many ways. Yeah. Like to good reciprocation, but we'll talk about that. All right, then let's call it a day here today, and then we will meet again, maybe 5 o'clock, maybe 6 o'clock for some of you. Until then, Hare
Mataji,
Krishna, Dandavat
can we
Pranam.
spend 10 minutes to finish the 12th chapter devotional
No, it's
service?
okay, Mataji. We'll read it ourselves, I think.
All right, I think
Okay,
that's a good idea.
we'll do it.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Krishna.